back to the Tarot Cottage. My name is Amy. I'm back today with a pick a card reading for you. Welcome to my beautiful returning subscribers. As always, you guys are amazing. So thank you guys so much for your beautiful comments this week. Thank you to everyone who has subscribed this week and left me comments below. And be sure to check your notification system so that, or press your notification bell and check your notifications in case I have reached out to you and notified you as the winner of the tarot reading, because I'm waiting to hear back from my most recent winner again. So be sure to hit your notification bell and be sure to check those notifications as well if you have dropped me a comment this month. If you are here for the very first time, though, we would love to welcome you to this space and have you join our beautiful soul family here by subscribing to the channel. I offer a chance to win a free tarot reading for my subscribers and the people who drop comments below my videos. So be sure to subscribe and be sure to drop your comment below as well for your chance to win. For today's tarot reading, for the topic today, because I do pick a card readings here, it's all about the person on your mind and what they tell people versus how they truly feel about you. So what are they telling people in the world about this connection, about how they feel versus how do they truly feel inside? We do have 3 piles to choose from today. Pile number 1 here with the little blue flower. Whoops. Pile number 2 with the little red rose. And pile number 3 with the little yellow flower. So whichever pile or piles are calling out to you, there may be messages waiting from your spirit team today, and my timestamps are listed below. I'm going to jump right into pile number 1. So pull up a chair, get cozy. We're going to have a little chat today because we're all friends when we gather around this table. And again, today's topic is all about the person on your mind. What do they tell people about this connection versus how do they truly feel about this connection and you? Pile 1. Hello, pile number 1. You were drawn to the blue flower. And this is your reading. The person on your mind, what do they tell people versus how do they truly feel about you? We're going to split this up into separate little piles here, but we're going to start with your little oracle card. And the card that you were drawn to was your life is a canvas, artist, manifestation, creative accountability. And so this card can indicate that the person could not take accountability, or maybe they are taking accountability about how things are standing right this moment. So they could be passing the buck of blame, or they could be absorbing the blame at this point. And we're going to see what your tarot brings out for you today. But they're talking about how it's like this was a story to be written. And there could have been so much more here, but there isn't for a certain reason. And so we're going to see what their position stands, or where their position is when it comes to what they tell people versus how they truly feel about you, like the state of your connection versus how they, in their mind's eye, versus what they tell people about this connection. So we're going to start today with how do they talk about you? What do they tell people about how they feel? I've got a very squeaky chair today, so bear with me. So what do they tell people about their current feelings? What impression are they leaving people when it comes to this connection? About their feelings. We have the Strength and we have the 5 of Swords. We have the Empress. What do they tell people about you? The 7 of Pentacles. Back of the deck is the Star and the Ace of Wands. I feel like they have shared some pretty vulnerable messages with people, actually, which sometimes surprises me when we're leading readings like this, because the stars, there's Aquarius energy here to start, we have Leo energy, and there was a spark, and that's what they have told people in the past. They've told people about this spark between the two of you and how perhaps you were a little bit out of their league and maybe they didn't shoot their shot because they're talking about this internal conflict they had on being able to tame the strength that they had inside of you because they were crushing hard on you. And so I feel like they've communicated a lack of effort in some regard when it comes to this connection, when it comes to the effort that they took, and that they really gave into some insecurity when it comes to what they thought was possible here. I almost feel like this person was kind of shy. Maybe they were this Virgo energy, but it's like they told people I was planning on taking action and then I just sort of ran out of time. I took too long to advance. And they thought that you were really beautiful. I thought that you were really attractive. In fact, it's almost like an essence of perfection, to be honest, because I just heard Eve. It's like you were Adam and Eve. It's like you were Eve. And they tell people about how there was a chance, they had a chance, and they should have, you know, taken a shot. But they thought they had more time, and before they knew it, you had slipped through their fingers. Six of Cups. They also relate in terms of a friendship with you. So you may have grown up with this person. Maybe you went to high school with this person, for instance. And about how you perhaps gave them some clues that you were feeling a certain way and that you never picked up on it, perhaps. Because they keep talking about how I was almost trying to protect the friendship and I didn't really want to rush things. I was waiting for the perfect opportunity to tell them how attracted I was to them, and I never got the chance. Here's the Lovers, and here's the Six of Pentacles. They also tell people that they're pretty sure that you didn't feel the same way anyway, so they kind of placate some of that pain, some of that disappointment that they feel by telling other people that it's most likely for the best because you didn't feel the same way. That you didn't feel the same way. But here there's a huge discrepancy between how they think you felt and how they actually felt about you, and how maybe you were a little bit out of their league to begin with, but that there was a really strong connection, a really strong friendship, and they wanted to move it into a relationship, but they took too long. They took too long to take some sort of action towards you. But let's take a look at the other side of the coin. Have they really let people in on the true nature of their feelings for you? How do they truly feel about you at this time? They're not passing the buck towards you. I will say they are taking creative accountability for what has happened here in a sense, because they are acknowledging that there was a connection here, that there was, at least in the very least between the two of you, deep friendship, deep connection in that sense. But they just waited too long. They were internally conflicted and they were making plans, but they just didn't make them in time. Or they are even talking about being too shy to say something. How do they truly feel, though? We have the Chariot. Three of Wands, the Four of Swords. There is something sort of bittersweet inside of their energy about the innocence having never been broken between the two of you. That is something that both brings them peace, but also weighs upon them, to be honest. It's like they never took this into a physical relationship with you. There was a lot of innocence and a lot of nostalgia surrounding you. And in some degree, they do want to protect that. But it's like, I'll never know. They're just lamenting themselves because they're like, I'll never know what that will be like. I'll never know what it would be like to expand beyond that innocence. And that stings them a little bit too. Because I do feel like there has been shifts in position. I feel like now there are more obstacles than there were in the past of this connection. It's like back then it was emotional obstacles. Now there's practical things in place. Jobs, families, home, people. Whoops. Ooh. We have a lot going on, and this fell out, but we're not going to keep this pile. There's deep, deep regret in what they didn't gain, not just in the practical sense, but even in what they would have gained in their emotions, in their confidence. It's like they would have made strides here. It's like made strides if they had just overcome that insecurity in the past, because they've just dragged that insecurity along with them. So the same sort of baggage and triggers that they were facing here emotionally, they've carried them into the other elements of their life now. And because they took too long over here, they didn't heed the call for temperance. We've moved into obsession energy. And so major themes of their life are still being influenced by you in the present. And they don't share that specific message with other people. When we have the top energy here, we just have the Empress. It highlights how beautiful you are, highlights how incredible you are, how abundant you are in every realm. But it doesn't really touch upon all of the major themes that they're still being influenced by in the present. The insecurity, the mindfulness, it's like the watchfulness of the past. They keep going back to the past. It stops them from being present fully in the future here, or in the present rather. And it's like it burns. It's like it stings, this obsession. And they are saying, I'm taking accountability for this because I made my bed. I'm the one that did this. I made my bed and now I have to lie in it. It's like trapped by my own actions. And they're also talking about now there's been this revelation because their awareness has increased over time, that there's this innate knowledge about you. Just like the spider, they're just showing me the baby spider and how a baby spider is born able to weave a web. It's like there was something that they couldn't put their finger on in the connection and the attraction in the past, and they put their finger on it now. Yeah, they've had this revelation. And I feel like they wish that they could share this revelation with you because they want peace and closure from all of these themes that are being influenced. The desire for rebirth, this pull from the past to the future, this codependent attachment. It's like they want closure. And part of this closure they really feel is necessary to bring forward their true feelings because they felt like they hid them from you. And it's like I have no one to blame but myself. So they're not blaming you. They're blaming themselves. And, you know, it's a struggle for this person. There's that Five of Pentacles still at the backup deck, and there's the Star. Now, we saw the Star earlier as we were shuffling through your spread midway through your reading because you felt unattainable. You feel far away now. You were emotionally unattainable to them here, but you're far away now, practically speaking. And there is this aspect about some of the rose petals falling. It's like they're showing me the Beauty and the Beast energy. It's like over the length of time that you've been separated, have we run out of time to be able to execute change, or should we move now into a healing pattern? Because it's like they want that healing. You can see the 4 feathers, the shamanic feather, representing the healing course for me. They want to feel whole. They want to feel complete. And they feel like they need this closure in order to access that healing course, to able to turn their gaze in the direction of that healing. But you're still out of their league. You're still unattainable. So there are some mutual energies that do fall in line with both of these categories, but there's so many more major arcanic themes that are being represented over here, being influenced in a real way in their experience. How do they truly feel, please? We have here soulmate. Yes, you are my soulmate. And that understanding may not have been present in the past, and they don't share that aspect with people either. You know, the soulmate, this backup deck represents what they're not showing people, what's not visible to the naked eye. The 6 of Cups here is just a support to the impatience. But here, they're like, I can admit that to myself. I can admit to myself that you're pretty special to me. You have here engagement. Your love life is ascending to a higher level of commitment. They've also sort of accepted in the present that this probably won't be able to transcend past this point. We probably won't be able to, yeah, they're not very optimistic. It's reversed. We probably won't be able to move this into any other cycle. It's like they are acknowledging that they need closure, that they need healing in this moment. Let's get a couple of message cards to see. How are they currently feeling, please? Versus what they tell people. What do they truly feel? That they made a huge mistake. I feel like that's almost a theme for this reading for you, Pile 1. I feel like they keep kicking themselves and kicking themselves. And they've told people, I kick myself. But the degree of which they're actually, you know, emotionally kicking themselves, it's completely imbalanced. They only give people enough information to let them know that they're suffering a little bit. We have something is holding me back now. And it's not just one thing, it's multiple things holding them back. I'm very different than the person that you remember. I've grown up, I've evolved. They did highlight the fact that you've evolved and grown too, but there's been this passage of time and they wonder if it's too late. But the separation is still killing me. And these are the truths, these are the thoughts that they keep to themselves. They're not sharing these thoughts with other people. They keep these thoughts to themselves. They wonder if you still care. Do you miss me the way that I miss you? Because I'm losing hope that you could, or that you do. And I don't want anyone to get hurt, and that's why they're holding back. In the practical realm, they have a lot that could be lost if they were to take action upon some of these epiphanies. And the truth is that I didn't fully realize what I'd lost before it was too late. And this is not a thought that they share with other people. They are relatively It's like their version of honest. They're not dishonest about what they have shared with people. They just hold a lot back. They keep a lot to themselves in an internal space because they're too conflicted to bring it to the surface, because it could hurt too much to kind of remember that pain. Oops. Sorry, I'm trying to reach blindly for the deck that I'm looking for. What do they truly feel about pile number 1, please? What are their true feelings versus what they say to others? I know that I'm going to love you forever. And they don't share that with other people. They keep that to themselves. They talk about missed opportunities and attraction and beauty and want, but they don't talk about forever. There's no going back now. It's like, I know I made my bed and I have to lie in it. I'm taking creative accountability for the position that we're in. I should be satisfied with what I have, but I'm not. And I just heard that old analogy of like, once you've tried steak, it's hard to go back to something else. I fell so hard and so fast for you. And this feels impossible. And they feel like it is, but I can't let go. It's like I wouldn't even know what the process would be to release. And I think about the last day with you a lot. The benchmark of their failure, I heard, because you are on my mind daily. And this is not something that they share with other people. I feel like it would cause a lot of conflicts and disruption if they shared that truth with other people. Let's get a charm bowl, please, for pile number 1. Oops, we have one on the floor. And it's the King of Cups. It's reversed. It could have been a Pisces, Cancer, Scorpio. We also have Virgo, Leo, Gemini, Aquarius, Cancer, Capricorn on the board. We have the Strength reversed. Sometimes the King of Cups reversed can really speak to somebody who had these deep feelings, but sort of manipulated themselves almost. It's like emotional manipulation because they couldn't tap into the strength they needed. And so now they have to, I don't want to say gaslight, but almost like gaslight themselves. It's like they're trying to convince themselves that the feelings aren't as intense, to stop themselves from listening to the notes of intuition, which is putting on applying pressure to them to take some sort of action towards you with the Page of Cups. They do think about reaching out to you. Now in the bowl today we have the letter P. We do have the heart, the black heart here with the key. So it's like somebody who doesn't necessarily think that they can create change in this moment, but feels kind of stuck in their responsibilities. We have 2 honeybees. So 2 people who could have moved into other dynamics and sweet results that they're working on towards the ultimate result of abundance, but also self-sacrifice within that. The Rose of Empowerment, and we have this red rose drooping here, it's like we're losing time, because I keep thinking of Beauty and the Beast. We have the Umbrella of Protection. We also have the Turtle, which is the Knight of Pentacles, so responsibility, somebody who's trying to protect their environment, but also wants to keep a guard over this 6 of Cups. We have the Chariot in Gallop with the horse and freedom, always having a choice. And the Bird. I think about being in flight. I think about taking off and freedom. All right, pile number 1, that's what I have for you today. I hope that it resonates with you. Please drop your comment below if you feel called to, and if you would be interested in a personal reading with me, because I'm going to be drawing a new name this week. So be sure to hit your notification bell if you do drop me that comment. Be sure to hit all of your buttons, your like button, your subscribe button. It helps me to bring you guys more content. You can also check out my links below for Etsy if you feel called to, for personal reading or for Instagram. But please come back and visit me on another day at the Tarot Cottage, and I hope you have a great day. Hello, pile number 2. You were drawn to the little red rose, and this is your reading. The person on your mind, what do they tell people about their feelings versus how do they truly feel about you at this present moment? You were drawn to the activated Earth card. It says power lays, ley lines, and trust where you are led. And so there's an aspect of this card in the message that speaks about trusting in the process and feeling like there could have been connection here, but it's like trusting that if I wasn't led down that road, that wasn't the road for me. And so that could be what they're communicating to other people, is that I'm just trusting in the process. I'm trusting that if we're not in connection at this time, that was meant to be in that way, and that I trust in the decisions that I've made. So let's take a look here and see. We're going to start with, what do they tell people about their feelings about you and about this connection? And then we're going to move in to spend a little bit more time on how they truly feel about you as a comparison. But what do they tell people about their feelings and about this connection for pile 2, please? And you could have been drawn to the red rose because Spirit just connected it to this sense of empowerment. It's like I'm trying to fuel myself with this encouragement because I'm really not sure about where we're being led here. We have the King of Pentacles. So they could be an earth sign, a Capricorn, a Taurus, a Virgo. What's most important about this energy, though, has really little to do with the sun energy and more about this dragon. And again, we sometimes will anchor ourselves to a belief, to a truth, so that we come out looking secure, so we don't look like we are impacted emotionally, because sometimes the King of Pentacles will guard himself against some of that emotion. What do they tell people, please, Spirit? We have the Magician, the Ten of Wands. Back of the deck is the Justice energy. And the Justice talks about the truth. It talks about the enlightenment, the path which we're supposed to be led down. And in the Magician energy here, they're turning their back on this lantern. And the Magician is all about manifestation and control and power, and how they perhaps are telling people again that they turned their back on the opportunity, that they had the opportunity, but they turned their back on it. We have the Three of Swords, the Five of Wands, and the Eight of Cups. They are communicating to people that if they have regrets, if they've suffered in the past, and they perhaps have let that out of the bag a little bit, saying, I regret, I've got some disappointments when it comes to where I've ended up in life. And part of that disappointment that they talk to people about is about you. But they're talking about how I'm past that. The worst is behind me. I'm no longer trying to manifest change or try to understand that. I'm past that point. But if they were truly past it with the Eight of Cups, they wouldn't have it supported with the Five of Wands, because it means that they're still in the process of the struggle. They're still in the process of turning their back on the hope in this process. So they're not being honest necessarily. I guess we'll be able to compare it in a moment, but they do tell people, because this is my answer up top and these are my supports. So they're telling people that I'm done focusing on this connection. I'm in control of my decisions. But they're still sort of in the process of overcoming that hurdle. And if you look down here at this card, it's all of these foxes and this huge fox hunt, and underneath is the rabbit escaping. So that the curiosity, the desire, the want, it's still there, and it's escaping through what they're telling people. We have the Seven of Cups. We also have here the Five of Cups reversed. And the Five of Cups reversed is an aspect of forgiveness and moving on. It's like forgiveness after loss, survival after loss. We have the Strength and the Six of Cups. And there's the Three of Wands poking out as well. So what they tell people about your connection in the present is that they are no longer trying to manifest it. That they are, I feel like they have let people know that there is a bit of a weight of the unknown sitting upon them. It's like, I'll never know how this could have gone. It's like, but I'm not thinking about it anymore. I'm trusting the process. I'm trusting where I'm being led, and I'll never know. And that kind of bothers me. It bothers me that I'll never know where this friendship or maybe this really deep connection in school perhaps will lead me. It's like, I'll never know. And that kind of bugs me, but I'm over it. It's like, it was an option for me, but I'm kind of over it, and I've kind of moved on and forgiven myself for that aspect, because I was disappointed that we never had a chance to come together as a relationship, but I'm over it. That's what they're telling people. But if you look here at the Ten of Wands, they may be saying, I'm a little bit burdened by what I don't know. There's a mask on her face. And so she is carrying this weight of the world. And so if they're telling the world, they're telling people in their life that this weight isn't very heavy to carry. The truth is that they are wearing a mask potentially in that belief system, because they're still currently trying to overcome this focus war, because there's like a battle going on between where their focus is and where their heart is in this moment. But let's take a look here. How do they truly feel about you versus what they're telling people? So how do they truly feel? We have the moon, Scorpio. The truth is that inside this connection and the unknowns make them feel very vulnerable. There's the devil. The Seven of Cups and the Three of Cups. And, you know, there's a mutual energy of the Seven of Cups here. And the Seven of Cups is about options and fantasies. And the truth is that what they really feel inside is that they're worried that you were the option that was going to bring them the most fulfillment. That you were the path that could have brought them not just to the King of Pentacles, but into the King of Cups energy here. Here's the Ace of Cups. And the Ace of Cups is all about this communion of peace that comes in, that overflows in love. And that's the true nature of their feelings in the present. Is that it, you know, my cup runneth over for you. And they're definitely undermining or minimizing rather the true nature of their feelings, because they definitely worry a lot for someone who says that they're over the heartbreak. Especially in the recent past, they've been in this rumination cycle where they're just always thinking about you, and they're losing sleep, they're dreaming about you. But it feels like negative dreams. Like it feels kind of like, I don't want to use the term nightmares because that seems excessive, but they're not positive dreams, and these dreams fuel the insecurity that they're trying to turn their back upon. And this insecurity, this attachment issue that they have with you, the fact that the divine masculine's tail is being lit aflame, is all being hidden. It's all this energy of suppression. And they do this purposefully to try to distract themselves from some of the constant thought of the past, because they're not being honest with other people. Honestly, they're not even being honest with themselves sometimes when they start to go down this rabbit hole of thought of like, but this is their way of trying to adapt control or to try to draw back some of the power that they feel like you still possess of theirs. We do have the Three of Pentacles and we have the Nine of Pentacles. And there is an emphasis here on attachment and on how they have to maintain the true secrecy of how they really feel within the dynamics of their new relationships, perhaps, because they don't want to create more havoc. And so it's like a necessity to keep the peace, to keep people happy. I have to keep my feelings to myself. I have to it's almost like they're trying to make other people feel confident and comfortable with this really strong attraction that other people are privy to or other people are aware of. Because when we have a connection like this, oftentimes it is obvious to the people in our lives around us. It can even be energy that we carry forward into the future, and it can still feel obvious with the little hints, the little things we say to new connections that we bring forward. How do they truly feel? For pile 2, please. We have here forgiving and learning reversed. As you release and heal the past, you experience more love in your present moment. And that wanted to come out reversed. They have not released and healed the past. They've claimed to people that they're over the worst of it. It's like the worst is behind me. I've overcome this challenge. I'm more empowered by what I've learned, but they haven't gotten over it. They haven't released the past. And they're not very optimistic about how they're going to accomplish that either. Positive thinking will bring you romance. And they really wish that they could honestly just express their love. Go ahead and make the romantic gesture. They do fantasize about reunions a lot in the present. Like, this is a habit. And that's the reason why they're having such a difficult time in overcoming this hurdle and overcoming the challenge, is because they're still curious. They still want more. They still want to go down that road. They wish that they could go back to the past and go down that road. How do they truly feel, please, for pile number 2? We have here amethyst, transformation, certainty, and confidence reversed. We also have enchanted forest, mystery, magic, and excitement. And the magic and excitement comes from the fantasies that they're still harboring in the present for you. And they don't plan on letting those fantasies go because they're carrying them into the future here. They do definitely reflect a lot upon, letting their insecurity stop them from creating growth here. And now they're saying that the secret of you is actually suppressing growth in their environment. So it's kind of like this huge loop. It's like the predator has become the prey in different aspects here, because at once it was the fear and now it's something practical that's stopping them from really sinking into their position and feeling good about it. Back of the deck says apprehension, moving out into the world with doubt and fear. Number 18. And there is an emphasis on Scorpio here in this spread. How do they truly feel for pile number 2, please? Wearing a mask. They are not showing their true feelings with the people in their life. They are hiding, personifying, pretending, deluding, and at times gaslighting other people in their life when they try to minimize the effect. We have dragonfly reversed. Be lighthearted, finding out, things coming to light, adapting, changing, healing. And when I see the dragonfly, I do think about determination, and I think about changing directions. And somebody who secretly does wish that they could have made a different choice or could change directions now, but they don't know how to create that without taking their masks off. And so we have focus on self-worth, time to heal, shadow work, and self-appreciation. And when they do give in to this temptation of thoughts of you, it feels very self-indulgent. They feel kind of guilty about it. But also when they're fueling these messages to other people about, it's like minimizing how they feel, they're also, again, giving into that self, giving into, it's like they're acknowledging that they need to focus on their self-work and their self-healing in order to move forward. We have snake, competition, enemy, clever, malicious, looking over your shoulder, and the other woman. And I do feel like there could be attachments, maybe commitments or marriages in the present here for your person. Let's get some charm cards here. Some messages for pile. Oh. The sexual thoughts that run through my mind. And we do have the devil energy here as well. What are their true thoughts and feelings for pile number 2 at this time, please? It's always been you. It's you, it was always you, and I love you. Coming out with that card as well. And they are definitely not sharing that truth here. They are telling people in their life that they're very secure in their position when they're hiding some heartbreak. In fact, they may be telling people in their life that they've hurt you, not the other way around. The thought of explaining myself scares me. I don't want to apologize and see the pain I've caused in your eyes. I just thought I don't want to be with anyone else. I've been hurt by love before. I always see the 4 of Pentacles in that situation, in that card. Concern for my home. It's like if I give into these desires, into these thoughts, I'm going to have to worry about practical concerns. I've looked into tarot readings. And I was in denial. And when they talk to other people, they are in denial. Back of the deck says, I've been thinking about proposing to you. They sometimes think about reaching out to you and creating some sort of reunion so that they can clear up the confusion. But then it's almost like a lie that they tell themselves because like they know that that's not a good idea. What are their true feelings right this moment, please, for pile number 2? I know what I want. They just don't know how to get it without some sort of upheaval or problem. The truth is that you are so attractive to me that you make me weak everywhere. I've changed. But some things haven't. You still make me very hot. Please forgive me, but my life is in chaos right now. It's like I'm just trying to maintain my security. I'm trying to maintain my position. It's like they're working on foundations. But I still look for you wherever I go. including, they're claiming that they looked into the spiritual realm, looked into tarot readings. And I can still hear your laugh. And that's coming up over top of the Seven of Swords, because they do reminisce a lot about the past when it comes to you. Because the truth is that there is something so special about you. And they're acknowledging that. They don't acknowledge that to other people, because even the Six of Cups is supporting the strength. They're taming that truth. And this is something they don't even share, that they're having to actually force this message when they say it out loud. Let's get a charm bowl, please, for pile number 2. The last thought they had about pile 2 in the bowl today, please. This last secret thought they had. Oh, we have the Nine of Swords. I feel like they had it at night. I feel like they were dreaming about you, and it's almost like a depression that could be sinking in for someone watching here, for someone's person, perhaps. There's Aquarius energy. And the last thought they had was about reaching out. But then they started to go down the rabbit hole of worry, and they started to list all of the reasons why they shouldn't, why it would make them feel vulnerable. And so it really shows a lack of hope or faith in their ability to be able to execute change. We have the letter J. We also have a pair of glasses. They could have worn glasses. There could have been something significant about the eyes, but also a watcher energy, and I think of schooling. We have loyalty with the friend with the little sheltie and taking a risk. The butterfly of transformation, and we have the stethoscope. So I think of hospital nursing connection, but I also think about blocked heart chakra, somebody who didn't express something. We have the cupcake sitting next to the honeycomb, and 4 are filled and 3 are not. So somebody who wants their cake and eat it too, someone who's in a foundation, but wants it all. Wishes that they could maintain what they have, but also have this connection as well. We have the Libra energy too. That is what I have for you today, pile 2. If it resonates with you, please drop your comment below so that I can enter you in for a chance to win that free reading with me. Be sure to hit your notification bell so that I can notify you if you're chosen. And look at my links below for Etsy for a personal reading if you feel called to, or for Instagram. But I hope that you come back here and visit me on another day at the Tarot Cottage, and I hope you have a great day. Hello, pile number 3. You were drawn to the little yellow flower, and this is your reading. What does the person on your mind tell people about how they feel versus what do they truly feel inside for you? You were drawn to the You're Not For Everyone card. Embrace your weirdness, face your true north. And so they could be sharing with other people that you overlooked them, that there could have been something here, but that you didn't like them as much as they liked you, or there's some sort of discrepancy in the emotions here, because they're trying to convince themselves that everything's okay, that they don't have to feel the rejection because they're not for everyone. This could be reversed as well, about how you had a strong investment, but how, they just weren't feeling it at that moment. But I feel like there's a lot more on their end. Like they're talking about how it's almost like they're licking their wounds with other people. And it's like they're trying to convince other people that they're okay, that everything's okay, even though they felt a rejection. They're not for everyone, and they're trying to find their special person. But let's take a look here and see, what are they telling people versus how do they truly feel. So we're going to start with a comparison with what they are telling other people about this connection and about how they feel. So what do they tell? Just saw the Five of Wands, just saw the Queen of Cups. And there was a lot of jealousy associated here with that energy. We have the Nine of Cups. I'm getting a real strong sense of crush situation, like a crush sensation, like I'm crushing really hard on somebody. The Seven of Pentacles. I feel like you knew this person for a while in the past, maybe even when you were children. Yeah, here's the Page of Cups, and we have the Sun. Because there's this aspect of like them hiding their feelings, or I just saw the Hermit. It's like they hid how they truly feel for a length of time when you guys were friends or when you were very young, because it feels like very young energy with the Page of Cups. And truthfully, as I'm looking here, this stag is covered in vines, and there's these purple flowers. They look like lilies, which is like a symbol of spiritual love. And so we've evolved together. We've grown up together. We have the Strength reversed. And that they had a huge crush on you, but there was nothing really came out of it. Knight of Cups. The World. Back of the deck is the Tower, and we do have the Hermit. Now, they are emphasizing sort of taking their time before applying action towards you in the past. So I feel like that's part of the message that they tell people. It's like, well, I had a really huge crush, and we crushed on each other, or I was crushing, and I thought they were crushing mutually too, but I never had the courage to come forward. It's like, and because I never had the courage to come forward, and we took such baby steps, neither one of us came forward. But because you didn't come forward, it's like they're trying to placate this feeling of rejection and trying to tell themselves and other people that, well, it's okay because I know I'm not for everyone. But they were crushing really, really hard. Like they had a lot of hope set up in how they felt about you in the past. And they were wanting to bring enlightenment into the situation. And so they are telling people about that, or they've spoken to someone in their life about that, about how, I was crushing so hard and I crushed for a really long time. It's like, as I grew up, the older that we got, the harder it was for me to say something, because they could have fallen into a friend zone, for instance. But this World energy, it's like success is containing this kaleidoscope. It's like there's so much involved in the kaleidoscope when we are actually bringing awareness to the surface. It's like there is so much more here than meets the eye, at least on their end. But these supports are even parts of the messages that they're suppressing to these people. That this is my answer, that they should have brought enlightenment, they should have taken a risk with you, and it would have perhaps created permanent change or an epiphany. They should have brought the epiphany to light, and they were perhaps making plans to do so, to take action. But that they should have taken action faster because they feel a rejection from you. But then they go over the top and say, but it's okay. I know I'm not for everyone. It's like they try to placate some of that pain and some of that unknown energy. It's like, I'll never know where it could go. And so I try to fill the void with optimism, which is a very, this person's practical in nature. They try to maintain optimism. They try to keep moving forward. But there is still a lot of like sort of epiphanies that they perhaps have had that they're not sharing with other people, that they have not included in this message, because they keep it very light. They're very honest in a sense. It's like they're very honest about, I was too much of a chicken. I liked this person for such a long time. I thought they liked me back, but obviously they didn't, because they didn't come back towards me. It's like they were out of my league, so they probably didn't like me back, but I'm not for everyone, so I'm just going to keep moving forward. But it is hiding an inherent loneliness and sort of a grounding energy that does steal their focus sometimes. And it's like they have to work hard to try to maintain that optimism. Even when they bring that forward to other people, they have to work hard to say it out loud. They have to work hard to maintain it. And that's a part of this minimizing of the truth of the situation, is a way for them to keep this armor on, because they still don't know, truthfully. They keep telling people this. They're trying to flood purpose at the lack of movement or the lack of connection. But the truth is they don't actually know how you feel. And they're probably picking up on some pretty mutual energy between the two of you. But if you guys have just gone down that kaleidoscope of truth and taken a risk, what you found there could have been huge and expansive and very surprising too as well. But let's take a look at, how do they truly feel? They're telling everyone that they're trying to focus on the positive. We have the Four of Swords with the King of Wands. So they could have been a Leo, Aries, Sagittarius as well. So please take that as it resonates. What are they truly feeling for pile 3, please? And you may have even been drawn to the yellow because of that aspect of fear, the World, and the Hierophant reversed. The Seven of Pentacles. And the truth is, there's the Nine of Cups. The Seven of Pentacles has now shifted position into the future. So it's like this sense of waiting, the sense of longing, the sense of indecision about where I should be and the choices that I've made. They're carrying that into the future. So it's like things are not shifting and changing. We have the Nine of Cups. Back of the deck is the Eight of Cups. Let me clarify this as we go. The Two of Swords. They have a strong lack of closure that they're not sharing with other people. The Magician. And they do attempt sometimes to maintain this optimism that they share with other people, or with this sense of closure, or the sense of trying to think positively. They try really hard to maintain that even within themselves, when the truth is that their focus is still very much on you. They're almost protecting that fire between the two of you because they feel like things are stuck. It's like ascension is just delayed. Even though they're like, I'm facing my true north, I want to move on. In a perfect world, they're still kind of holding space for you. They're trying to tell themselves and other people, because it's almost like they're trying to convince themselves through some of these speeches and thoughts, is that I'm trying to convince myself that I'm right and that I'm facing my true north and I'm not for everyone. But the truth is that they still wonder if they're for you, or that if you're for them. And as much as perhaps logic tells them they need to move into a healing cycle and face the reality of the situation, sometimes they turn their back on that logic. They turn their back on that because they don't, it's almost like they're protecting their heart space. They're protecting their focus on you too, because they have an emotional investment in you. And so this is not even necessarily being a protective element against you. It's like wanting to keep it safe, wanting to turn my back on the logic, and wanting to turn my back on this logic that's telling me I should be forward facing, because we have the Death energy and there's the Eight of Pentacles. And I feel like it could have been years. It could have been a very long time that this person's working hard to gain mastery over this attachment, because that's what it feels like. Mastery over this attachment. And sometimes the Death energy is supposed to represent closing out a cycle so we can go into a more positive cycle. But in this case, they're trying to maintain the focus, or they're not necessarily even trying to maintain the focus, but it's just maintaining. Because the Hierophant is reversed. It's like perhaps they've moved into another emotional cycle or a practical cycle, but emotionally they're not invested there. And it's like they're trying to convince themselves that they are. But there's so much unfinished business that holds their focus here, that monopolizes all of their energy of their Magician. There's a lot of themes here being represented, because you are this divine energy. And they still are curious. It's like, where could this have gone? I'm still holding on. And they're still holding on to this connection. Despite telling people, I'm facing true north, I'm facing positivity, I'm moving out into the world, I've had my epiphany and I'm forging a new plan. The truth is that this epiphany involves you. And the focus is still very much on that altar. It's almost like a worship energy, to be honest. What are the true feelings, please? We have separation. Time apart from your partner is on the horizon. It's reversed. I do feel like time apart is on the horizon, but it's like they don't want that to be the case. They feel like there's unfinished business here. And ultimately, they still, it says work on your partnership. It says give your relationship a chance. It came reversed as well, because they're still very focused on the divine feminine, but they may not feel like it's a possibility at this time. And so it's like they're trying to figure out where they should apply that force and where they should apply their efforts. We have love yourself first. Your self-respect makes you more romantically attractive. So they are almost trying to claw at, it's like their ego and their higher self are working against each other, because it's like they're trying to move themselves into a more positive light. They're trying to move themselves into a more place of clarity and release so that they can experience new beginnings, new emotional starts. And so they're trying to focus on themselves, and they're trying to work on these attachments. But this is very hard energy to shake. We also have retreat. It's time to disconnect from the world. And ultimately, in order for them to be able to silence all this noise, they have to kind of go into that hermit mode. They have to silence themselves so that this epiphany of permanent change can actually hit them, because even though they fear that it's permanent, they don't want to believe that it's necessarily permanent. It's like, I still want to hold out for my wish, for my desire here. Their true feelings, please, for pile number 3. In the present, we have Ganesha, clearing away obstacles and guidance. It was coming reversed too. And I feel, again, a goddess energy, worship energy. And we have Tree of Life, family, certainty, creativity, magical blessings. And that came out reversed too. And we have liberation, breaking free from a negative attachment. They don't perceive it as a negative attachment in the present, but they are recognizing that it's most likely holding them back, or in the very least, they're spending too much time focusing upon this and thinking about the connection overall. Their true feelings right this moment versus what they tell people. To pile number 3, please. We have girl with a snake. Empath and narcissistic paradigm, being charmed or used, enable our boundaries. And I don't want to say that they kind of blame you for overlooking them. They do feel like they crushed hard on you, and that perhaps you used them in a sense, just in the sense that they feel overlooked or they feel like they were ignored in some way. And that you knew how they felt, but you still wouldn't reciprocate. And so at their worst moments, when they're feeling low and they're doing their best to try to detach, that's what they tell themselves. It's like, well, it's very important for me to face my true north. And but I'm still interested in conversing. I'm interested in talking to you. I want to talk to you more. Even though they feel like this element of like, did you overlook me? I still want to talk to you. But I just saw axe, break up, stop the pattern. And then we have not today, not dealing, avoiding a conversation, still upset, boundaries, and healing heart. And this one came reversed too. It says healing from a heartbreak, freedom from this addiction. And that's what it feels like for them. It's like they know that logically speaking, they should be in a healing cycle. And they go from this period of frustration to desire to frustration again. It's like they're still very much imbalanced with what they're telling people. They're not being honest about the optimism that they're trying to project outward. They're just trying to fake it till they make it over here, because they're in the process of that heart healing. What are their true feelings, please, for pile number 3? How do they truly feel this moment for pile number 3, please? I do lie awake thinking about our future. And I secretly wish that you would let me hold you. But I want to return to the world. I need more time for me. I need more time reversed. It's like I ran out of time. I think about the 4 of Swords reversed, and I think about wanting to return to the world, wanting to have clarity. But I still have so much desire for you. You have your family won't like me reversed. So it's feeling like they still don't have your support. They're also worried about the gossip or the opinions of other people. And you're so beautiful. What do you need me for? And this is like the 9 of Cups. This is like the 9 of Pentacles. Somebody who puts you up on that beautiful pedestal because they think that you are the Empress, the Emperor. And the truth is that I'm terrified to let it go. It says, I imagine you naked, but I'm terrified. I keep overthinking. I'm worried. They're anxious. They dream about you. They lose sleep over this connection. I did hide who I really am from you. And I wish that I could take back my words. So if they even said something to you in the past when it comes to taking a shot towards you or being vulnerable, they wish that they could take it back. Sometimes I stay awake thinking about you. Says, I'm grateful for the spiritual lesson. It came in a huge pile though, so we'll put that back. Whoops. I hope that you can forgive me one day. I couldn't let you get close to me. There's like an interesting message coming out from the higher self from this card. It's like that's their higher version of themselves saying that. It's like, I hope that you can forgive me for some of these feelings, some of these back and forth mentalities. I know that I was a distraction from your pain. That's reversed. And that's the thing, is that they're going off of their perceptions, and some of their perceptions are based on feeling ignored or feeling overlooked in the past. Back of the deck says, I do know I messed up everything. And that's reversed too, because they're not quite there yet when it comes to full self-awareness. They haven't quite adapted to this epiphany about you and figured out what to do about that revelation. And so they minimize it in the present. Let's get a charm bowl, please, for pile number 3. How do they truly feel? It's the last thought they had about pile 3, please. The last secret thought they had about their true feelings. In the bowl today, we have the Page of Wands. We have the Three of Pentacles, and we have the World. They did think about the unfinished business, and they were curious about what you're doing. They were curious about what you're up to. So they were thinking about your dynamic, your foundations, and the foundation that the two of you built together. So thinking about the flirtation phase, and there's a thirsty energy surrounding that, and the risk associated with taking action now. It's like, how would they be received? We have J. We have a shovel, somebody who's digging themselves a bit of a deeper pit. At times, we have the nursing cap reversed. I think about hospital nursing connection. We also have a dime here from 2018. I think about October and the 10th of any month, and I think about Six of Swords and transitions and closure. We have run, reversed, and made with love. I think of children. Also have Hello Kitty. I think of little children. So I think about growing up, coming of age. We have unfinished business here with the Divine Feminine. So the Divine Feminine here does think that there's an unfinished cycle as well, but there's a Tower energy. So it's like, I'm afraid of a permanent change. I'm afraid of upheaval, of revelations coming in. And there's a reality that someone in this connection is not able to commit at this time, or they have other commitments in place. We have the Tree of Life reversed too. So that could be indication that if somebody takes action, there could be divorce energies. All right, my dear, that's what I have for you today. I hope that it resonates with you. If it did, be sure to drop your comment below so that I can enter you in for a chance to win a free reading with me. Be sure to hit your notification bell so that I can bring more content to you, and so that I can notify you if you're chosen the winner for the free reading. And you can check out my links below for Etsy for personal reading if you feel called to, or for Instagram. But please come back here and visit me on another day at the Tarot Cottage, and I hope you have a great day.